All right, why white dating coaches stop posting Daygame lay testimonials? The real reason why most minority men never get results for Daygame by going to white dating coaches is because they're copying the wrong people. I have 691 laid and polled testimonials for Daygame, and that tells you something. Just because a dating coach is white or Caucasian, popular, with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, or standing next to women for DSLR optics, meaning that they have a very expensive digital camera and they just stand next to women, does not make them a good dating coach. They can hire models when they're in passport bro countries for very cheap just to stand next to them, and they make money from it. It doesn't mean they actually know how to get you laid, especially minorities. And just because a dating coach is white doesn't automatically make him the best, because you think, well, he must be good because he's white. You're basically saying he has a halo effect. If they're white, they have to be right. Nothing against white people. I want this to be taken out of context. I like white people. I like white women. In general, I get along with white people. I'm related to white people. My aunt is white. She's like a tall, like really tall woman. And my cousins are like 6'6". They're half Chinese, half white. I'm related to white people. Let's just make that very clear. And people that are my cameramen are white and other stuff like that. However, it doesn't mean that as a day game coach that they're the same as the blue pilled white population. These are very different Machiavellian cluster B personality disorder, millennial narcissists, Machiavellian manipulators who are marketers that disguised as dating coaches because they can't get you laid for day game. So, I mean, we often think that like the average folks, right? We knew everything. The truth is, everything changed with a pandemic. So, how did this downward spiral happen? Where people lost their social skills and the world fell apart. So, this was around like year 2000. The pandemic happened. So, a lot of people went through a lockdown and they got really, really stuck. So, I mean, those who had a good grasp on social skills, like blue pill, that's what I'm talking about. The blue pill guys, the white guys. But that's different now because over the years, after they have lost their ability to socialize for blue pill, I'm not talking about white dating coaches. These are Machiavellian cluster B people. But I'm talking about white dating coaches, right? But for blue pill, they lost their social skills because now, like, if you look at Vancouver, from 18 years old to 39 years old, only 10% are in a relationship. And Gen Z, for Gen Z, for example, 63% are single in the United States. So the blue pill people that used to have a lot of social skills have lost their social skills. But just because in the past they were so good with social skills does not mean that white dating coaches are the same as the blue pill people. They're completely different. So, having said that, okay, there's less people here right now. Let me change the title a little bit. We'll try a different title. How's that? Maybe this one would hit better. All right. We'll just keep swapping them out until we get it. But let me tell you, there are guys that are, these guys are something else entirely. We're talking about a specific type here. Think narcissistic sociopath who fits into what some call the dark triad or dark tetrad personality disorder. So the reason why white dating coaches are not the same as white people, I respect white people. I think white people are cool. I have nothing but love for the white people because I myself, right? If I was white, I'll be so happy. If I was 5'7" white, I have exactly the same face. Oh shit, I'll be getting close to like 150,000 YouTube subscribers. You know, that's the thing, the halo effect. But however, they're not the same for these guys as the let's see here, as the blue pill. Let me just add this to the chat so people can actually see this. So just because you're a minority, the very first thing you're going to do is just go to a white dating coaches because you think they must be good. And when you go to white dating coaches, you get burned. You don't get any results because it's not transferable to you. Genetic advantages do not transfer to you. And back then, before like the tariff era, before 2025 and 2026, white dating coaches, they don't get many day game lay testimonials. But after the tariff hit, Game Global, all the white dating coaches there could not get anybody laid for day game. So they just stand next to women for more optics. This is not like race baiting or anything like that. We're just talking about a real thing that minorities should not be worshiping. Because after they get burned by white dating coaches, minorities will go towards someone their own ethnicity. So if you're Asian, then you go to an Asian. If you're Indian, you'll go to an Indian coach, and you get no results either. So it starts with white, then you get burned by Indians, and then you come to me last. And then I have to do all the repair work. Does that make sense? I have to do all the repair work. That's ridiculous because their agenda is about making money and luring you into pricey boot camps that cost you a pretty penny. And speaking of penny, like Pennywise, the dancing clown, most of the white dating coaches have the same eyes as people that are mugshots. And you might be thinking, what do you mean? When you look at their eyes, they almost have a Pennywise eyes for white dating coaches. They're not the same as the blue pill, which I respect, because blue pill for ancestors, not my ancestors, but throughout history, had really good social skills. White dating coaches, they look different. If we were to look at their eyes would be separate a little bit, 1.5 millimeters. It's almost like pointing in two different directions. It's almost like Pennywise, the dancing clown. Oh, yes, you want to learn dating? You can float in their boot camps. They all float. But that's the thing. They all have that sort of look in their eyes. If their eyes are crooked, and you look at Todd V, one eye's off. You look at Charisma King, the eye's off. Why is it off like that? Because you look at RC Tyler, a little bit off too. Most of Game Global coaches, their eyes are separated. When you look at mugshots of people, they have a sociopathic death stare. These are not the same as blue pill, which I respect. Because when we're talking about white dating coaches, we're only talking about like less than 1% of the population, less than 0.055, whatever, like 999, whatever. Like their eyes are separated because sociopaths have a narcissistic death stare. These are not the same as in your interpretation, a white dating coach. Therefore, they must be good. They are not the same. These are like sociopaths that are extremely manipulative, narcissistic, dark triad. And for them, they want to run a business that they think, oh, because they might get some results with 5 out of 10s, then they can teach other people to do the same. And they see it as being lucrative because the sheeps, they fall for it. The minorities especially. So the eyes are not like KFC biscuits. Well, I'm gonna eat some KFC later on, so somebody's gonna bring some KFCs. That'd be good. But as I'm saying, for white dating coaches, I can look up their eyes. Like let's take a look. Let's look at Charisma King. Let's see his eyes. I can't really find it here. Charisma King. I can show you all of RSD's eyes too. They all have this sort of like sociopath death stare. So if you look at mugshots, it's always very scary. They always have very piercing eyes, kind of like this, right? Intense death stare, right? Todd V has one eye off. I don't know why that is, but whenever I see a person like this, whether it's in marketing field, let's say, for example, it wasn't just dating coaches. Sometimes you want to learn how to make more money. I always look at their eyes. If their eyes are crooked like that, I know no matter what, I'll be brainwashed because these are cult leaders, manipulators. And when minorities, they start going to, they always start with white dating coaches first. So they'll go to UMP. They say, oh, UMP is good. But UMP, another black student who joined, and he's an unteachable case. I didn't let him join. I just sort of like told him, you're not allowed to be part of elite access until you can show up for 2 weeks in a row. You don't want to pull a Sebastian. Does that make sense? You don't want to pull a Sebastian being a lazy zombie. And then he was doing that. He's trying to procrastinate and do it his way. I kicked him out, but he can still come back if he shows up for 2 weeks. But he went to UMP's forum, and I said, "Do you see anyone laid there?" He's like, "John, I hate to tell you, John, but I see people laid all over UMP's forum." I was like, "Okay, let me ask you a second question to the black guy. Is it day game or night game?" And he's like, "John, it's all night game. There's zero day game." I was like, "There's my point." So people that used to like really put our UMP into high regards, especially Indians. There used to be so many Indians joining. You see, I have so many Indian students, right? It's like almost like a engineering school here. But there are so many Indians in UMP. They don't get laid now. They funnel to night game. UMP is now known as a night game company. Why is that? During the tariff era, 2025, 2026, no more day game lay testimonials. You regard them as high? Where are their students? They're not getting laid. Doesn't make any sense. All the Indians that went there because they believe that, oh, he's white, so they look like they know what they're talking about. Oh, one of the coaches is very good looking. You know, there's a tall one and there's a better looking one. They must be good. In the past, UMP were getting women that are 3 out of 10 for their students. I know my Italian student went to UMP and he barely could get laid, but he still has a decent lay count. But the thing was that all the women, despite his looks, were all 3 out of 10, and he got massive PTSD. He was going to passport bro countries, and it took so many fucking approaches at that time. It burned. He went to mental trauma cure by going to white dating coach, and he got stuck. At the same time, another half Jewish, half white student joined my coaching, and he went to a white dating coach. This guy's not white, you know. He has like brown eyes and curly hair. It looks kind of like Sebastian, but you know, it's like there's not like he looks mixed. I didn't know he was Jewish. Later on, we only found out he was Jewish because he just found out he was adopted. I was like, whoa, shit. And your father's Jewish. He's like, oh, shit. And we didn't know that. So you're Jewish. You're half Jewish. He's like, yes. But afterwards, right? That's why he's so good. He got 20 lays in a row, 17 in one year and 3 in the other one before his elite access ended. But he went to a white dating coach because they think they're good. And when I was like smear campaign by Sebastian, he took a program called Kaizen. So what he says on Reddit is not like representative of my program of Elite Bundle Resurrections. It was more like Kaizen. Yes, I was pretty tough with Kaizen. I would say that probably is very, because they have to all get laid. It was a course built for minorities, almost like Navy SEALs. So yes, I was very tough with Sebastian. But also another guy took it. The first year he took it from Germany, not in Berlin, the easiest place in the world. I had a 5'7" German student who got a girlfriend who's younger than him, but he came back later on. He didn't follow any of my instructions. He just turned into like a cunt during the pandemic. And then I kicked him out. But he come back, John, please, can I take Kaizen again? I promise you, I know you won't take me back as a student. So don't worry about getting kicked out. Sometimes you get kicked back in. Just like that black student unteachable case, he's going to probably be allowed to come back if he can show up for 14 days. I said to the white student, I said to him, if you can show me that you can pull women home with my elite playbook, which is a game product, not like social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, but a game product. And he did it after a couple months. Can I come back, please, John? Yes. And the first week, right, in Kaizen, it was so tough. I mean, it was a very punishing course. Sebastian went through nothing compared to him. You don't even want to know what this guy's been through. But he already got laid with a 21-year-old, 8.5 out of 10. I was like, what the fuck? And after that, he got like a Persian, like I think it's an Iranian chick or Persian. She looks like a Latina. She's really hot. And my students, they think she's above 8 out of 10. The first one's 8.5. The second one's like 8 to me, 8.1. Some of my students are saying 9 because some of them like Latinas. She looks like a Latina, nice boobs and everything. But he pulled her back home and he fucked her. It only took like 10 or 15 minutes. Right away, the body language changes, speed of his speech changes. But my main point about this was after his third lay, a 21-year-old, right? He banged a 21-year-old, but her face was like 7.6. Not super good looking, but not super bad. Kind of butterface a little bit, but better than what Sebastian can ever get. But what happened was afterwards, He quit Daygame. So he went to another white dating coach in Germany or something, and he was learning Tinder and how to use that kind of shit. And then he actually told me, John, I actually did learn Daygame from him. He got 0 lays for the next 2 years. Afterwards, the white student, 5'7", bald, big belly, everything. He came back. He bangs a 10 out of 10 looking Megan Fox German woman. She looked exactly like Megan Fox for the face and body without the surgery. I was like, what the fuck? But she's 40 years old, so she's like a yoga instructor, really hot. It's not like a butterface, it's like really pretty. Like Germany, people are not very pretty there. Most of them are kind of old looking, you know? I don't know why. They're kind of tall, kind of old, right? And but she's hot. But he went to a white dating coach too afterwards. He got no results. But after like 2 or 3 weeks over here, when he came back and did the drills, not like exactly like Kaizen, he was too scared to take Kaizen. I mean, Sebastian's scared of Kaizen too, probably, but this guy was scared, even though he got 3 lays in one approach. The amount of training that he's gone through, okay? Kaizen's not the same as Elite Bundle Resurrections, but he did not get laid. He's a white guy. He's 55 years old at that, or he's like 54 or something at the time, and 53. He was taking my coaching at 52. He came back at 55 and gets like a 40-year-old, 10 out of 10 Megan Fox looking woman who looks younger. Does that make sense? But he went to white dating coach. I was like, how many people did you get? Like, did he get anyone laid? It's like, did you get laid from his day game coaching? I was curious. Did you get any dates? He's like, nothing. But how does he get a? First, he gets a hand job because he went to a conference in the fucking public bathroom. I don't know how. Like, what the fuck? In the public bathroom, they sneak in there. He got a hand job, but she was older, right? So it's like, okay, that wasn't that impressive. But after the hand job, he gets this 40-year-old Megan Fox looking woman because I don't think he understands that his age affects him because he was trained by me before. It never occurred to him that because she's 21 years old or something like that, that it's supposed to be harder for an older guy with a big belly. He didn't have that reference experience. He went to like white dating coaches before. I think he went to Todd V. No results, you know? And then he went to other like coaches there. Maybe Indian, I don't know. Germany. And then he went to more whites. And then he came over here, just fucking gets laid right away. 3 in a row, get a girlfriend. But white dating coaches did not help this white old man. Does that make sense? It did not help him, which is very surprising. Why didn't it work for a person that's the same ethnicity? It should have worked just fine, but it didn't work. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is that I know it may sound wild, but you might think that I'm just bashing white dating coaches. I respect white people. I really do. I'm related to white people. My aunt is white. My friends are white. My cameramen are white. Does that make sense? Like literally, the women I date are white. You know, in the past, I used to date different ethnicities like Persians and, other ones. So don't, yeah, I mean, it was just my taste before. I had different like variety and stuff like that. But however, I respect white people. So I'm not trying to criticize white people. I'm just trying to criticize the dating coaches because these guys are not the same. These guys are almost like criminals. They have the penny-wise eyes and the separate, like, points in 2 different directions. And then when they teach you, they have opinions as facts. They're exactly like cluster B, narcissist. They're delusional, high ego, low self-esteem. And then they just, when their eyes separate, they'll manipulate you. And it's not just white dating coaches that have this separate eyes. Indian coaches have it too. Indian coaches, black coaches like Justin Wayne, his eyes are super split. He wears glasses to cover it. Does that make sense? You cannot they need to hide their eyes because people can see through it because they look like criminals. The cluster B, an antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder. There's different type of narcissism. Communal narcissism, like in terms of community helping people. There's vulnerable narcissists. They beat themselves up. You have malignant narcissists who smear campaigns you. Like, Sebastian, I could have fucking destroyed your business. Why did I do it? I'm a Christian. I'm not fucking like, I'm going to sue you, but I'm not like you. I'm not a malignant narcissist. And then, yeah, smear campaigns usually cluster B. This is not a smear campaign, by the way. It's just something that somebody needs to say. It's not like, I'm not one of those race baiting coaches either. It's not like, oh, we're talking about race. There is edgy. No, somebody needs to speak the truth. White dating coaches cannot get you laid. So that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Because honestly, I have no issues with white people. I like white people a lot. Maybe, I wouldn't mind being white. I really wouldn't. If I was exactly the same height and I had the same face, like a Justin Bieber looking kind of face, and then a blonde hair or something like that, I would be happy. Blue eyes, that'd be cool. I'll have like over 175,000 subscribers just by being white. And imagine I was a white and I have all these late testimonials, but I wouldn't because it wouldn't be transferable. Does that make sense? So let me see. Let's see. I want to make sure that people understand that there's a video up here right now. I only got a couple of views. So whoever is here, that's great. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll try my best to answer. I just don't fucking troll me and shit. So as I was saying, roast. Right. Right. They can't. I gotta put it description. Why they can't get minorities laid for Daygame in 2026. All right. I'm gonna copy and paste that. All right, hopefully they see this, but let's continue. I mean, I have family members who are white. So my aunt, she's white, but she's tall as hell. So my aunt has curly hair, but blue eyes, and she's like big boobs and stuff, blonde, like dirty blonde, super tall. My cousin is like 6'6". My cousin, I feel sorry for him. My cousin, right? The thing is, I look younger than my cousins. I don't physically age. So I don't know what they look like right now, but it's been many years. I haven't even seen my relatives or anything like that or my family. I've been kind of estranged. I haven't talked to my family and all these other relatives in years. I only went to my grandfather's funeral. My grandfather, he started a Chinese or Cantonese television station here in Canada, the biggest one, right? But my grandfather, this guy doesn't have any like business skills. So they bought out his entire fucking company. He's not even on the fucking founders list. He has no credit for it. I wish I could go to Wikipedia and write his name there. He's the founder of this company. So what the fuck? He even brought me to the company. Try, before it's like, hey, get a job over here. I was like, no. The only thing I want to do is teach Daygame. And in 2012, that's when I started teaching like local pickup artists in big groups, like immersion programs. And the people that got laid right away were white people, tall guys. So Asians did not get laid until 2018, until Elite 30 from Hard Case to Hero come out. Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, my cousin's half white and half Asian, and he wants to be a doctor. He just graduated. He has hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and he can't even find a fucking job in this AI era. What the fuck? Oh shit! I mean, what? He's gonna work at McDonald's or something, like with a doctorate degree or something? That's ridiculous. It's like, well, too bad, too bad. Well, anyways, my cameraman's white, so a lot of like students are white. So they got incredible results because they all started with white dating coaches, even the white students, and they get no results. And one student wanted to like end it all from London. Then I got him 10 fuck buddies, a fivesome, 2 models, and one became his girlfriend. Lots of white students get crazy results. Another guy from London living in Vancouver, that guy had like 4 fuck buddies and 2 girlfriends, and one of them was 9 out of 10. They just broke up like I think a year and a half ago. They're just boring each other. So I was like, hey, you should take more of my coaching. And the guy's like, nope. He just acted cheap and disappeared. I was like, what the fuck? But that's not the point. I'm only talking about a small demographic of dating coaches. I have nothing against white people. I have nothing but respect for white people. So what I'm saying is these coaches are not really representative of the general population. They're not naturals. People think that because they're white, oh, they must be good with social skills. So therefore they're naturals. Because they're white, they must be naturals. They must be good. Well, what if I told you that's not the truth? Give a thumbs up for this. What if they are not naturals? They are unnaturals. You're like, what do you mean, John? For these white dating coaches, they're unnaturals. They don't actually have social skills. And you're like, well, can you prove it, John? How do you know if a white dating coach does not have any social skills? It's very simple. It's very, very simple. There's one dead giveaway. They'll start making statements all the time. And when they make a statement, they get a short answer from her in their infields. People automatically trust them because they're like, oh, they're white, they must be good. But let me change the title again, okay? We'll figure out a title that works. All right, we'll just keep swapping it out until we find the one that works. Okay. All right. They're not naturals. They're more like marketers putting on a dating coach's facade. That's right. Usually, when a white dating coach, they usually go in a day game. They always do something on the side. They're like a high ticket closer, or they do another job. Thank you for thumbs up. Um, can you give a thumbs up? I mean, for an actual like video itself, it's good for the algorithms. But for white dating coaches, most of them are like high ticket closers, or they're like doing some drop shipping. They have some kind of side business. Day game is not their first business. They always have something on the side. And then when the day game business makes more money than the side hustle, then they jump in. They're just marketers. They have marketing skills from other businesses, most of them. So they just see it as, oh, potentially is lucrative, and they might get some Tinder lays or something, and they suck with day game. They might get some 4 out of 10s occasionally, but then they because they're Machiavellian, they're like, well, if they're in a passport bro country in Indonesia or Thailand, and there's a bunch of European women there, and they don't have any money or a place to live, then why not advertise in the flyer? If you want to be in a model photo shoot, right, and stand next to me while I'm giving some advice, I'll pay you this much money. That's what they do. You always see that, even with Asian dating coaches. Like when you look at high integrity skills or low integrity scams, or the other guy, Asian Lee, they're always in a fucking Thailand or something, hiring women, and then just like, we're gonna demonstrate dating here. It's like, dude, like this is all optics. The whole day game coach industry, the reason why they can't get laid testimonials, and you look at UMP, for example, they no longer get students laid during the tariff era. UMP. They're like, whoa, the people used to highly regard them. They can't get anyone laid anymore for day game, only night game. But we have to give them credit where it's due. They actually get people laid for night game, but they cannot get laid for day game anymore because the tariff makes it harder. The tariff makes it harder. So what's happening is that if UMP cannot get people laid, and before their students, when they're sexualizing it nonstop, half-ass sexualizing it, being off the line, just like sales. We talked about this before. On the line or off the line, right? I wrote it on a piece of paper. Okay? They're off the line because every time you half-ass sexualize it, it's very crass. So this is like when you have the body language 45 degrees, it goes up gradually, right? And then easy to instant date. So when you're off the line, you give a direct compliment, right? Most white dating coaches does that. Now they play a numbers game. They can only get women that are 4 out of 10 in looks, so they don't keep it in their infield or show that. They only show like trying to talk to more attractive women. Nothing happens because you never see from open to sex. You're like, what? Wait, John, what do you say? What do you say, John? What the fuck you say about white dating coaches? You never ever. I'm gonna say this again very carefully, guys. Listen, have you ever seen a white dating coach ever go from open to instant date, to like venue changes, to like pulling women home and having sex with her? And you think about it for a second. What about tall self-proclaimed high leg count coaches? They say, oh yeah, this woman, I closed her or whatever. But then they end up in the fucking cab. And that's a pull. You're like, wait a minute, John, I have never seen that before. You see that? It's almost like we all have a collective amnesia. No, but Todd V, right? He must have got laid, right? He opened the sex. Like when we think about it, Todd V, the only time that you see him pulling anybody home, nothing happens, or going in a cab, is always at Las Vegas at nighttime during a more sexual, easier environment, not day game. You never see Todd V do that. He only maneuver a woman into a place once, another time into a cab. Tall self-proclaimed white coaches, they only ended up in the cab. You never seen open to sex, but you're like, whoa, but John, but they still pulled to a cab. So it's like, dude, that's not a pull. You maneuver her. That's just a venue change to a cab. They cannot let that go because they're brainwashed by white dating coaches when their eyes are like separated, like Pennywise. And then they're brainwashing you. It's like a cult leader. I studied cults before, and I was looking at their eyes. Their eyes are always separated a little bit. Whenever you get brainwashed, You can tell when a coach is going to brainwash you. Like, for example, they might say, oh, it's all Indian hate. It's all Indian hate. It's too bad. You got to fight back. The eyes are separated. Everything is separated. It's like you're being brainwashed. It's very important. You got to look for the sociopathic deaths there. You never, ever want to listen to somebody that eyes are separated and they're gaslighting you. So, John, please, can you please respond to the question? Thanks. The eyes are not like KFC biscuits. I'm not sure what the question is. Like KFC biscuits? Like in what way is KFC biscuits? What the fuck? But all right. Let me see. Are you talking about on the phone? Are you texting me something like a question there? Or I don't see anything, but I'm not sure about KFC biscuits. But I do like KFC, man. I'm gonna have some KFC later today. It's Toonie Tuesday, right? It's Toonie Tuesday. You get half price for 2 pieces of chicken and fries. I bought 2 boxes. My roommate is gonna drive and bring it over here. Every Tuesday, I'm on YouTube Live. After it, I'm fucking scarfing down like chicken. Right? Escalation question. Can you rewrite it? I don't see it on here right now. There's only like 1, 2, 3, 4 things, right? Eyes are like that. Thumbs up. John, please, can you please respond to the question and escalation question? Can you please rewrite the escalation question again? I'm not sure there's some kind of being filtered or something, but I don't see it. Try again. See if you can get bypass any filters or write it in a way that I don't see the question. It's not there yet right now. But yeah, they're more like marketers as a dating coach. And what was I saying before that? Yeah, white dating coaches, you never see open to sex. It only ends up in a cab. Look at UMP. Las Vegas, exactly like Todd V, or they go to Indonesia. Crappy infields, always ends up in the cab during a sexual nighttime street game interaction. You see that? White dating coaches cannot pull women home on the same day. A same day lay is impossible for a white dating coach. You're like, there's only one white dating coach who's a psychopath called Alpha Man Strategies, and he got a rape charge in the United States. He showed that open to sex. He's the only one in the world that has shown that. But then he got a rape charge because he's kind of creepy. He was stealing his students like televisions and stuff, and the other student was like saying, "Yeah, that was me. He was stealing my television." Right? They were on YouTube Live and commented, "That was me. He stole the television." It's like, well, what the fuck? Crazy. It's like cluster B to the maximum, millennial narcissist. But he doesn't care if I say that because he probably respects me. They all respect me. Like they don't fuck with me. I like white people. I respect them a lot. Blue pill white people. But they have been losing their social skills. But day game coaches are a different breed. They're exactly like you guys. They're cluster B and cluster C. But not cluster C, they're cluster B. All right, let me answer your question. I see something over there, okay? A bad eyesight, but let me put on my glasses, okay? I'll read your question, right? All right. John, we'll have the escalation before going to final location. Take the girl to the final location easier. Well, think about my student who's Indian. He's doing more social skills flow drill. Here's the answer. How about this? This is your answer. From here to here, right? If you don't go direct, you're not off the line. If she like talks more, you flirt more, right? It turns the line from blue to red. Does that make sense? You keep your body language up, constantly, gradually make her wet. So you don't need to escalate super hard. But you need to keep up the social skills flow drill because she's going to like you, trust you, and be willing to go home with you. I'll say this again. If you can get her talking more, the more she'll like you, trust you, be willing to go home with you. And the attraction builds. But if you have the zombie flow drill, like white dating coaches, we can go to any of their infields and play it. They'll start to make a statement. You look like you are from London. And she's like, no. Then you got one word answer. And then they ask a question. So what do you do for fun? The white dating coach would say, the woman would say, like, I go to the gym. And then he's stuck, right? He's autistic. But you don't know he's autistic because you're also autistic. So autistic people cannot tell. I can tell that they're autistic. And then they'll just make another statement, a cold read. Then they'll ask another question. Statement, question, statement, question, statement, question, statement, question, statement. Because their brains are not doing a social skills flow drill triangle. Their corpus callosum, the middle part of the brain. So it's not just about escalating, because if they don't have the social skills flow drill, they cannot funnel her body language. I mean, funnel her, move forward on a line with social skills, and raise the attraction, because they have to spike all the time. Does that make sense? Because you think that's escalation. You guys spike it. Why not? Well, don't fucking hunch. Stand 45 degrees. Use the social skills flow drill and use a whitewash tonality to fit in the white girl's tribe. Does that make sense? Because tonality, the reason why people cannot get laid during 2025 and 2026, like UMP, which a lot of Indians highly regard, is because their voice is full of cortisol stress for their students. It's full of cortisol stress. So therefore, the voice, no matter how much they're moving forward, are always going to get rejected. They'll never get her back home. Never, ever, ever. And that's why they keep escalating by sexualizing it. UMP, you got to sexualize it, make her think about sex. But that will filter out 99% of women. Only that 3 out of 10s will be interested. 4 out of 10 not interested. 5 out of 10 not interested. 6 out of 10 not interested. 7 out of 10 not interested. 8 out of 10 not interested. 9 out of 10 not interested. 10 out of 10 not interested. Then you got these tricksters like UMP. They only end in a cap. Or they go to Indonesia and get an infield. They just can't do Daygame really well. Like, who the fuck do they think they are? I mean, you guys put them in such high regards. Then you look at other people, Game Global, all these white coaches that are Facebook coaches that use DSLR cameras. They stand next to women like Matt Artisan. You don't see them closing anybody. It's all optics. These white dating coaches are optic coaches. You're listening to optics because you assume that they can close, because you assume that because they're white, they must be good. So all the minorities who are autistic will just listen to them, and they'll be gaslighted, and they don't know the difference. And then you got ABCs who listens to mystery, who's trained by mystery, and then all of a sudden the Asians can't even get laid for Daygame, not even in the fucking like different countries. They can't even do it. In third world countries, they can't even do it for Daygame. So they swipe on Tinder because they listen to mystery method, which I talked about in the previous video, and people got turned off because I was telling the truth. Like, somebody needed to say this. When was the last time you seen a white dating coach go from open to sex? When was the last time you saw UMP do it? London Daygame. When was the last time you saw it? Was it Tom Terrell, that guy who basically, offed himself after he even got caught like hiring actresses? But who have we ever seen as a white dating coach? Have we seen RSD Max? No. In Ukraine, he basically tells women that they're having a party and stuff, and then he just uses that as optics. He's not closing them. He sucks. No, but Julian Blanc, he's good, right? Julian Blanc. But Julian Blanc has a really ugly wife that nobody wants. It's like, well, what's going on here? John, we're starting to see. So you're saying, John, if according to you, white dating coaches only ends in a cab. They have never shown from open to sex ever. Not even like if they pose always at nighttime during some kind of like Las Vegas environment. So that means, what does that tell you about white dating coaches? It was all a lie. It was only people, their audience, the sheeps. They were only playing a numbers game, getting a woman that's 4 out of 10, and that stopped working because of the tariff. The tariff, they couldn't get people laid, so UMP rebranded into a night game system. All the other coaches on the Game Global, no late testimonials, so they hire more women to stand next to them. And you don't see them closing. They just say that, oh, that's my girlfriend. And then they have this DSLR photo shoot. They have expensive $5,000 camera, but they have another camera behind it. That's on a tripod. They take a picture of a camera, taking a picture of the woman. And then all of a sudden the sheeps are like, they fall for it. Does that make sense? So, John, I will get friend zone. You escalate your infields, right? Can you explain, please? Okay. If you spike the emotions here, right? Like this, you spike. And it goes up, it goes down. Do you understand that? Up, down. So you do a push-pull. You do like a self-amusement. Does that make sense? You're using a DHV story. So let me ask you a question, okay? How much volume is in here? How much volume is in here? Not a lot, right? Does that make sense? When you look at it, if this is water, right? It's just a big triangle. You see that? Spiky triangle. Does that make sense? So you're spiking throughout. That's how much attraction you have built, right? You're spiking the emotions. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? But if you stand 45 degrees, if you square off, she'll walk away because too much pressure. If you stand 45 degrees, then you're no longer putting as much pressure. Is a release. But actually, by sticking out your chest, standing out 45 degrees, does that make sense? It gradually builds attraction. Instead of like you're being fucking ignorant. Listen carefully. You're building fucking attraction just by body language alone. That's something you don't understand from Elite 30, from Hard Case to Hero, and Kaizen. You don't understand. She's constantly getting more wet because you can maintain a 45-degree body language, which takes a whole month just to build that habit perfectly. And when you can do that, she doesn't feel scared. It's not a numbers game. And then your social skills, in order for her to stay for 6 minutes, right, before your insta date, does that make sense? You need to have that perfect body language, but you have the social skills flow drill, not like the zombie flow drill of other white dating coaches making statements and then asking a question. Statements. They're finding a way to get her like staying there and talking more so she gets more wet. Does that make sense? And if they want to flirt when she talks more, they have a bigger spike on top of the water that's being built here. The volume of water is being built here bigger. Okay, if I'm so wrong, right? How did my Indian student get 5 lays? The other guy got 2 lays. And how did another student who did not spike that much from Vietnamese guy, how the fuck did he get laid? Explain to me. If I'm so wrong, and I'm the only one, and Game Global cannot get people laid, the white dating coaches, how am I wrong? I'm the only one who can get people laid for Daygame this year and last year. I'm the only one who can do it. There are no Indian coaches who can get people laid by spiking romantic sexual shit. There's no white dating coach that sexualizes it. They had quit and went to night game. There's no ABCs of attraction, Game Global, with their stupid like mystery method shit that can get people laid for day game anymore. Only I can get people laid. Should we listen to their testimonials again? Unless you believe me, maybe I need to prove myself again. So let's play 2 of the recent testimonials and we'll go over a Vietnamese guy. I don't want to bore you guys. Or do you want to take my word for it? The social skills flow drill has more volume. That's correct. The more volume means more wet. So spiking does not make her wet. Hunching and squaring off and putting pressure on her does not make her pussy wet. Does that make sense? But the more you can get the social skills flow drill with the body language, the more she likes you, trusts you, and be willing to go home with you. Because they can't get her talking more, how is she supposed to go home with them? Because she doesn't trust them because they don't talk more. And the more she talks, the more she gets wet because of the body language. Of course, you might say, well, are you sure that's true? Well, 55% of your communication is nonverbal. That's how you get her wet. You're like, well, what the fuck is game then, John? Don't you spike or whatever? Well, that's emotions, right? Tonality is only 38%. You're like, really? Then what is 7% left? That's called the game. That's words. Words are only 7%. You're like, well, what the fuck? So you're saying game is only a measly 7%. So, John, are you saying that all DHV stories, all of this gamey lines here, romantic sexual flirting, you're saying all that doesn't work anymore during the fucking tariff because the voice is affected by cortisol stress? Yes. They don't have a foot in the door because they're too stressed out. And women are seeing that and they're saying, well, this guy's voice is stressed out. Then this guy does not have survival value. This guy has bad genes. If she procreated with you and your voice is all stressed out because of the economy and you have a big double chin and you have like, no muscles or something and you have no memory and then you lose your hair, then she's going to think, well, this guy is a zombie, right? This guy has some cortisol issues. Therefore, he's not good for procreation. Because the more you lose in life due to ADHD, the more you get cortisol for every loss. Every single win, you get more testosterone. So therefore, you take more action. Does that make sense? So if you got low testosterone, you will not take action. You have more cortisol, then you will not take action. So that's why my students keep getting laid because they keep winning. They're going to get more lays. You got to get her talking more. Then you can start flirting when she talks more. Does that make sense? So you don't need to spike. You only flirt, not sexualize it, not push polls, not self-amusement, not DHV stories. You fucking flirt when she talks more. Then she lights up. Her pussy gets more wet. It's that simple. And white dating coaches don't understand that because in the last YouTube live, we talked about the mystery method. Mystery believes that they need to have a formula. You need to open, you got to build attraction all day by spiking it. That's why you're brainwashed. You got to be, oh, I got to spike it like mystery, right? I got to spike it because mystery said so. No, it's not the time to just build nonstop attraction because there is no structure. If she's talking more, you flirt more, she's back on the line. She's not off the line. She's on the line. The line turns blue. You want to turn it back to red. So she gets wet down there. Does that make sense? And when she's off the line, give you attitude, you get her back on the line by teasing. Right? There's no push pose here. There's no sexualizing it half-assed like UMP. They can't get a student laid anymore. I mean, they have become now a new night game coach because their day game no longer works. Nobody in their forum groups ever gets laid for day game anymore because the tariff has ruined the student's voice. Therefore, the sexualizing it, all that stuff that used to get women that are 3 out of 10 no longer works. Johnny Lee is the only day game coach in the entire fucking world. Prove me wrong. Go find me some late testimonials from Game Global, from Daygame. Go find me some. Recent ones. It doesn't exist. That's why they use more DSLR $5,000 cameras to stand next to women in the passport bro country. So, John, the infield on your account, right, with the girl in the mall, that's my favorite. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So basically what I'm trying to say is that, does that make sense? Body language. Because think about it this way. I'll give you another perspective why white dating coaches are wrong. Because I've met many white naturals, believe it or not. I know a lot of white naturals that have trained me. You're like, what, really? Correct. I knew 12 naturals. A lot of them were white. My Pakistani mentor is obviously like darker complexion and a few other ethnicities. But most of the naturals are white. One Persian guy, that looks kind of white, and other people. We also got a short Pakistani guy, 5'4", but with heel lifts, he's 5'7". That means most of the naturals that train me, they always have social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control. Exactly what moves you on the line. See, all the naturals, they have different body types, a different race, but they always have if looks is out of 10, okay? Money's out of 5. If it's all money, the Indians and the Asians will just get nonstop white pussy. Ethnicity is out of 10, right? White is 10. Tall blacks that are confident, 8 out of 10. Pakistani is 6. Middle Eastern 7, the more dominant tribe. 5 out of 10 is or 4 out of 10 whitewash Indians. 3 out of 10 short blacks. 2 out of 10 negative stereotype foreign Indians, but not in Canada. It's 0 right now. And then 1 out of 10 Asians. If they're too Asian wash, 0 out of 10. Does that make sense? So there's a sliding scale. That's out of 10. Social skills is out of 2.5 points. Social calibration is 2.5 points. Emotional control can be 2.5 points or minus 2.5 points. You're like, what? It could be minus 2.5. It's the only category that can be in a deficit. That's why if you're using game techniques and spiking it, if you have minus 2.5 points because you're broke, you're ADHD, and the economy is not good, Canada's in a recession, a liberal recession right now. Does that make sense? We're in a liberal recession. It's not a technical recession, a liberal recession. However, that can affect people's emotions. So it could be minus 2.5. So whatever game that you think you got 1 or 2 points a game, is already minus 2.5. Therefore, it's impossible. Don't you get it? It's impossible for UMP, if the person is minus 2.5, to ever get laid. Because if you get 20 out of 35 points, then you automatically get laid. So if looks is out, whatever, you can looks max, but because of the minus 2.5 points, it takes away your advantage. If it's your looks, if it's your money, right, it takes away points there. If it's your race or your weight, it takes away 2.5 points. So you're no longer 10 out of 10. You're 7.5. See that? If your biggest advantage is social skills, there is no social skills for the PUA type. The dating coaches, I told you, they're all narcissistic, sociopath, dark triad, Machiavellian manipulator, disguised as dating coaches. They just want to get you into boot camps because it's high ticket. You want to make the most amount of money? Don't get them any results, get them stuck, get them worshiping optics, and get them into the boot camps. Each boot camps, a white dating coach will make like $3,000 to $5,000. You get it? So 5 people, is 25,000. So they have to get a lot of people for the year. So if that's like 5 people in a boot camp, then they start doing immersion programs or teaching a boot camp every single weekend. That's already 4 of them, right? And then every month they just make more and more. Then after like 4 or whatever months, they make over $100,000 because they're white. They have no qualifications. They're not the same as the blue pill or the naturals. The naturals have perfect social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control. They're born with a 7.5 points. That's what my students are trying to build. Does that make sense? That's why they keep getting late. The only game that they need is the arrow of science. They just have to maneuver her around, instigate, venue changes, pull back home. Sexualize it in the bedroom to the maximum to get the sexual objections. And then they know how to deal with the sexual objections. There's a special way of doing it, which requires training for all of this stuff. That's why you guys should get like Elite 30. Get started first, and then get Elite Bundle like Resurrections 2 or 3 afterwards. Elite Access. If you cannot find my website, right, it's www.johnnyelite.com. And right now, right, because YouTube on the comment section has been moved down, they put a bunch of videos in between. If you can't find my sales letters, you cannot find my website, there you can type www.johnnyelite.com. Number 2, you can go on top of the YouTube, right, on my YouTube channel, which only has like 1,400 people. People don't want to hear what I'm saying because it's so offensive to them because it's so true. You go to the very top here, you click on the links here, you see that? And you go to the very first one, official site. And it goes to my website. And then you can see that right here, Vietnamese student, he got his second lay from Elite 30. He got 2 lays already. Another Indian from Canada, he's got 2 lays. Another Indian guy got 5 lays. And they're just stacking it up. Does that make sense? There's his testimonial. I have released this before, like, does that make sense? As a screenshot. He didn't want to make a video testimonial. He's kind of passing through. But I'm getting students late. That means Johnny Elite is physically, give a thumbs up. Johnny Elite is getting students late. And the other way to find it is on the on the description. People cannot find the description because it's being obscured by YouTube. But if you found the description, right? Does that make sense? Then you'll be able to find my website. But let's continue. As I'm saying, white dating coaches are nothing but filthy marketers. I want to be clear. I respect white people a lot. I'm related to white people and stuff like that. My cameraman's white. Lots of people are white. Even my other mentors that are like naturals are white. So here's the thing. I'm going to drop 3 solid roasts today that might change your mind about the whole game global scene and those well-known white dating coaches and why they cannot transfer their skills to minorities and why UMP and others can no longer get a Daygame lay testimonial. Not even the other Asian dating coaches, besides me, can get Daygame lay testimonials. Only one system works. I'm not talking on my ass here. Only one system in the entire world still works for Daygame. Just one. There is not a second system that works. All of Game Global system all collapsed when the tariff hit in August 2025. And also the second tariff in February when the Iran war started. It collapsed. There is no more Daygame lay testimonials from Game Global. So if you're a minority, you're Indian, you want to go UMP, I guarantee you will not get laid for Daygame. You better start liking Night Game because that's the only thing they can do. Same with ABCs of Attraction. The students are just pulling for Night Game, but not getting laid. And they're going to Latin America, third world countries, to swipe on Tinder. Game Global is a big disappointment. And all the white dating coaches over there, all scammers. Now you realize that they were just playing a numbers game, getting you into a boot camp. They have to get you to worship because that's a procreation switch. Like, well, what do you mean procreation switch, John? A procreation switch. If you see them in the infield or something, or standing next to women in the camera, because the procreation is a part of our evolutionary psychology. You see that white dating coach, if that can lead to your procreation one day, and then he can have sex with her, then he must be good. And your brain switches off and you listen to him. Oh, he's white. He got 100,000 subscribers. He must be good because he must be like a natural. But these are not the same as white blue pill people. Right now, white people that are blue pill are not good anymore because after the pandemic, after the lockdowns. They don't socialize anymore. They lost the skills. White people before the pandemic were just getting girlfriends nonstop. Nonstop because their social skills puts them over that line. Does that make sense? They don't even have to be good looking. They used to get girlfriends with ease. People used to have social skills. It's not because of Tinder. It's not because of like, oh, Instagram made women more narcissistic. No, it's because the social skills is now lacking. Because they're lacking, they don't get people laid anymore. So does that make sense? So, but these dating coaches are marketers. They're Machiavellian marketers, and they can spin information like Todd V. He could tell you a half truth and it says it's all game. Even in a previous old video, which you call winner game or wiener game, he's just saying, of course looks matter, right? Of course this matter. Are you stupid? And he just says the opposite. He speaks on one side of the mouth saying, here's the truth. And he speaks out the other side of the mouth, but it's all game. What, the 2.5 points? The 7% of your communication for words? Not your tonality, which he has none, by the way. He's a monotone Asperger engineer. He's Asperger's engineer with crooked eye. One eye is crooked because, it's like Pennywise eyes because he's a manipulator. Dark triad. Does that make sense? Their eyes are crooked, like Pennywise. So whenever you see eyes crooked, like a cult leader, I start studying cults. I look at their eyes. All their eyes are separated. We can start looking at the cult leader's eyes, right? They'll be exactly identical to other dating coaches. My eyes are not separated like that. Heaven's Gate cult. I want to see his eyes. Let me show you. So a lot of dating coaches, they have eyes like this. Let me show you. See that? It's like Pennywise. They go in opposite directions. They're like 1.5 millimeters apart, slightly. See that? It goes a little bit separate. We have other pictures here too. This eye is off over here. It goes in the opposite direction, like Pennywise, right? Let's look at other cult leaders and stuff. Okay? Charles Manson. Let's look at his eyes. You see that same thing? Crooked, 1.5 millimeters, up, sideways. Does that make sense? They go out like that. They all have that. Okay? Ted Bundy eyes. He has an intense narcissistic death stare, very scary looking eyes. See that? It's like that. They all have that kind of eyes. It's not like making up. If you want to look at mugshots, right? Most people have those kind of eyes. Does that make sense? They all have exactly the same type of eyes. So if you look at most white dating coaches, they have exactly the same eyes. And look at this. It's separated. Here's Ted Bundy from the front angle. Just make sure I'm not bullshitting. These are killers. These are murderers. See that? This one's separated. If I can zoom in a little bit. Separate it. See, this one's off. This one's slightly off. That's dark tetrad. You see that? That's a sadistic millennial narcissist. We like give it a thumbs up for that. So you're saying that all of RSD have the same eyes. They all have exactly the same serial killer eyes. And they'll manipulate you. They're good talkers. I'm not trying to manipulate you. This is not a cult. Over here is like deprogramming from a cult. Julian Blanc. Let's just see if we can find a picture of Julian Blanc. We need to find a better picture, something close up. All right. Here's Julian Blanc. His eyes are scary looking. Looks like a psycho. Exactly like Ted Bundy. Is his eyes separated? Yes, they are. They're separate. You see that? This one's already separated here. They're all born like that. You're like, shit. I'm not joking. The other picture's the same thing too. Let me see if I find more. Right? Looks exactly like Ted Bundy. When they're 1.5 millimeters sideways, you see that? That's Julian Blanc. That's how you know when a white dating coach is going to manipulate you. I guarantee you. Remember, I like white people, but white people in blue pill does not have these eyes. I'll show you again, so it's not bullshit. Look at the eyes. Are they separated a little bit? This is how you know where you're gonna get manipulated and you're gonna lose money. Okay? So it's not just white dating coaches, but they all have that. Does that make sense? They all have that. Let's look at a black dating coach. Hold on a second. I'm trying to look for Justin Wayne, right? If we can find a picture without glasses. I can guarantee you, if you look at his eyes, it's separated too. This is Justin Wayne. See his eyes? They're like Pennywise, right? See that? This one's off. This goes one direction. This one goes the other direction. You think I'm making this stuff up? I'm not manipulating the images beforehand. This is actually on Google. You're like, bullshit. But they all have the same thing. See that? Let me see. I'll go back. This is just Google. It's like, shit. Every single one. Every single one. So it's not something I can fake. That means you know exactly when you're going to get manipulated by a dating coach when the eyes are crooked. And they cannot hide it. The only way they can hide it is to wear glasses. That's why they wear glasses, because they have really psycho-looking eyes. It's not just him. Let me see other dating coaches. I can go through all of them. Every single one will have it. Does that make sense? You're like, well, what the fuck? It's not just like white dating coaches, Indians, black, everything, Latinos. Remember, I like white people, black people, all this stuff. I'm related to black people. My uncle is black. You know that? My uncle. He's a hairdresser, but he's married to my aunt who's Chinese. My uncle is black. He looks like a mafia gang member. He's a short, but he's a hairdresser in Vancouver. My other cousins are like Guyana, half Guyana or something. My grandfather's like brother married like a black woman. So my other side of the family, my cousins are like tall black people, right? Or Tiger Woods looking half Asians, half black, Blasians in Toronto, Canada. So one of them has moved here. So I'm related to black people. I'm also related to Spanish people. I have another uncle, right? Who's like Spanish. He's married like Chinese woman. My aunt is like not really nice person. She's like a troll. That's why I don't like her. I never want to go visit the family because of her. You know, she must be quite extreme as someone like Johnny Lee, who basically can handle this shit, would not want to handle her. So there is some psychos in that side of the family, I think. Like, just not good people. But you see their eyes, right? Todd V, let's look at their eyes. Okay. If we can get a close up of his eyes, right? So Todd V. This eye over here is off, right? This one's okay. But this one's like it points in one direction. It separates harshly over here. So he's like half Pennywise, get it? Like extreme levels. So if all white dating coaches have this, right? Then what does that mean? It means that there's a narcissistic, sociopathic cluster B personality. Some of them are very autistic looking, like him, but their eyes will separate. Does that make sense? Here's another one. This eye over here, this one, is separated. You see that? Look at it. I'm not bullshitting you. Wait, I saw a pattern the whole world doesn't see. See that? It points opposite. This one over here is normal. This eye, normal. See that? Just some autistic looking eye. That, like Elon Musk kind of eye, where they're kind of autistic and they have a glazed over look. But then the other one points outwards. You see that? You're saying, well, every single RSD coach has this. Who was the black RSD coach? RSD Madison. Okay? Even his eyes are the same way. See that? Extreme Pennywise eyes. They point in two different directions. Look, they're separate more than 1.5 millimeters. This one's like 2 or 2.5 millimeters, maybe 3. So these are all sociopaths, narcissistic sociopaths. Does that make sense? There's so many coaches I could show you. So when you say that white dating coaches are the same as the blue pill or they're the same as naturals, this is a lie. Give it a thumbs up for exposing this truth. Like I said, I like white people. I have nothing but respect, right? This is not a rage baiting post. This is an objective post. They'll all have exactly the same eyes. I don't have those kind of eyes. It doesn't separate. And I don't have those intense depths. I'm a little bit intense for my eyes, but it's not that far. Does that make sense? Like there's some intensity, but it's not like Julian Blanc like this, right? And a cult leader. Their eyes are all like that. We can go through every single dating coach out there, even tall self-proclaimed coaches, all of them, except for me. That's why they cannot get students laid because they're delusional. Don't you guys get it? Give it a thumbs up. Who could have told you all this, that their eyes separate? So these are not the same as blue pill, is it? It's not the same as naturals. So whenever you say, well, he's white, he must be good. Are they really good? Or are these tricksters? Are these like sociopaths? Oh, John calls everyone so. No, but does blue pill have eyes like this? Does blue pill have like Pennywise eyes? No. Do they have eyes like that? No, they don't. The general population do not have eyes that separate like serial killers. Does that make sense? They don't have the same kind of eyes. This is completely a different thing. So criminals and mugshots, they have that in their eyes. They have the intense depths there. They all have the same kind of eyes. This is something that I did not make up. I did not manipulate the images. White dating coaches are really not the same as the good people that you think are good white people with women. These are all trickster marketers. Their eyes give it away. Because when you rip off their mask of sanity, there's nothing there except that sociopathy. You're like, oh, you can't diagnose people. Listen, these are narcissistic people. These are people with opinions as facts. If I was wrong and Johnny Lee's the only one getting students late for Daygame, I could play their testimonials for this year and last year. If I'm the only one in the whole world who can get people laid for Daygame, then it means I'm not delusional because I don't have the separate Pennywise eyes. If I was like that, I probably am a narcissistic sociopath. But I don't have that trait. So that's why I don't know how to manipulate. When Sebastian and stuff are like saying the same shit, like, oh, John's evil, he's like cult leader, or he was like a North Korean dictator. Just shut the fuck up, right? Shut the fuck up. There's no manipulation here. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I was a tough coach for Kaizen, but he took Kaizen. He did not take Elite Bundle Resurrections. So yeah, that course is tough. But in reality, my eyes are separated. I'm a dark tetrad, a sadistic person. Sadism, psychopath, narcissism, and what's the last one? Manipulator, Machiavellian manipulator. I don't manipulate you. A black student wanted to join. He did not do his homework. I let him go from the program in less than 1 hour. And then now he's coming back. He's going to do his homework. He's going to show up for like 2 weeks in a row. Maybe I might let him join. I'm not manipulative if I care all about money. But they care about the money. Does that make sense? For a white dating coach, the only objective is that the reason why they don't feel guilt by hiring women when they're living in Thailand or Indonesia, because European women live there. They've been displaced after the Ukraine and Russian war. They have been displaced and they've gone to these countries. It makes it easier. They can hire these women and they say, oh, these are their girlfriends. And they take pictures of DSLR cameras. It's always that these countries. And then you think they're good with game. They're just photo shoots. You've been fooled by them standing next to women, not actually being inside them. You've never seen open the sex by a white dating coach. Until we see that, right? Then what can you say? Show me one instance where a white dating coach pulled a woman back home from daytime, not like in a cab like tall self-proclaimed coaches, where he will go, we'll walk across the street. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's like, see, I got laid with this woman later on. You trust me because I'm white. Like, well, trust you? No, there's no proof. No proof. But I got plenty of proof. Like, it's just fucking seeking arrangements, lead gen, right? Going to the elevator in a third world country. Oh, but I could do it in line. Yeah, but fucking Tinder shit. Who gives a fuck? It's like, what the fuck? But he still ended in cap, John. That's still good. It's like you're just being an apologist. Oh, but what about Bradicus? It's like, what you see him pull, but you see like anything else? No. But what about this other guy? It's like, no, UMP just ends in a cab at Las Vegas, or that's it. They don't have any other proof. In a nighttime environment in Las Vegas, they always go for easier places for infields. They can't do it. But their students eventually get a 3 out of 10 by sexualizing it. No longer works, so they go night game. So UMP, if it's based on mystery method, and you're supposed to say that they're pretty decent, and they do get some students laid with 3 out of 10s, right? It takes a long time to happen by sexualizing it. Okay, let's give them credit where it's due. They got some students laid before 2025, in 2024 and before. Okay, they got a little bit of lace, but they're really ugly women that are 3 out of 10. They create PTSD for the students. And some of the Asian students don't get any results with the UMP. They train here, and then they get 15 lays, 5 models, 5 white girls, 2 actresses. Does that make sense? Of course, if you don't believe me for any of these things, I can always just play the 2 testimonials that we have. Here's the newest lay for the. These ones have not been released. One of them has been released. We'll play over here because you need to believe me, right? You might not know who I am. So play this. This one's brand new.
Hi, everybody. So I wanted to share my second late testimony after training with John Elite in Daygame. So I got my second lay on July 7th of 2026.
July 7th, right? What's the date today? July 14th. That's just 1 fucking week ago. Same as the other Indian with 5 lays. Now he has 2 lays.
After training with John Elite in Daygame. So it was done through cold approach, and it was actually my first approach after a long time because I took a little small break due to a flu. So it went really smooth, and I was able to sexualize it and, loop the objections. So basically, I brought her home to a day 2 and was able to close the deal by looping the objections that John taught me how to do it. She was actually a virgin and also threw a lot of objections on losing a deal, but thanks to John's looping objections, I was able to address it really clearly. And I didn't use any kind of romantic flirts or king. No, with all done through John's coaching, which included a lot of tonality training along with body language and behavioral kin. So I know it was really opening for me because I had like a girlfriend in Toronto for like 8 years, and I'm not beauty or anything like that. Like I don't have good team or anything. I was getting so much plates previously. Even after training with all the big training coaches out there, I was still struggling, and I was getting all these flakes, and I almost gave up hope. But then I saw these testimonies and connected with John. He actually told me that you deserve pleasure. Let me change your life. And after that, I just decided to train with John because I think we're pretty similar, like in terms of our mentality. He also trains in jiu-jitsu, boxing, Krav Maga, all of these
Krav
things.
Maga. Krav Maga.
Able to actually
Yeah, I train Krav Maga. So I'm retraining right now. So I'm taking the IDF version of the Krav Maga. So I'm going to update my training. So I got injured, but he also took Krav Maga. I'm going to post his testimonial soon, right? He also took Krav Maga like me, but I'm updating it. I found another instructor from Israel. I'll be training with him online, right? So maybe I might teach you some of this stuff, or some of my students some of this stuff, so they're like less avoidant. But I see some cool shit from the IDF Army. They literally teach you how to use your gun, and or how to use a knife. And there's not like a million moves like the civilian Krav Maga. There's only like 1 or 2 or 3 strikes, and that's it, and it works. It's really cut down. Like how to use a rifle, right? Against like machetes and stuff, and what to do when somebody's grabbing your gun. I'm learning a bunch of new shit. I'm not saying that I'm condoning this stuff. I'm just saying I'm just learning for fun. Just to update my training to black belt level. I got injured halfway through the program. I was only a green belt. So there's yellow, orange, green. And then that takes 5 years to get a green belt. Then after green is like I think blue, brown, and then black. So it took a long time to get there. I got injured right at green belt, and I wasn't allowed to come back unless I had a doctor's note. But my eyes was damaged because I kept seeing a lightning flash on the left side of the screen of my eyes. It's like boom. It's like that's scary. Imagine that you see a big fucking lightning going right through your roof. And you see that every single day. It just keeps flashing. Because somebody poked me in the eye. But that's not the point. But he did take Krav Maga. But I'm not talking on my ass here. If this is a second lay, right? This guy from Toronto, if it's a second lay, right? Then it's not just like a fluke. It's not like one off. He's gonna get more lays, right? I'm still gonna train him.
Late all his teachings in a very specific manner that I think most people are able to get. Well, outside that, I definitely recommend everyone training with John. At his air science system, that is really the only thing that works.
Aero science, maneuver, sexualized objections, looping. That's all the game that you need. Not spiking, not all this bullshit.
And the results are.
Not sexualizing it like UMP.
So I would suggest everyone.
I mean, this is an Indian person, right? Indian. You think UMP can get Indians laid? Indians don't get laid from UMP after August 2025. The tariffs started. No Indians could ever get laid again for Daygame. Only night game.
You're Indian, black, Chinese. Train under him and, have your dating life sorted forever. Especially if you want to master Daygame, you have to train with him, right? So that's all for me now. And you hear from me soon again when I get my third lay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
I'm not gonna play the other Indian testimonial. I already posted his video testimonial, right? But this other one's brand new. This was the Toronto guy. It's not the same Indian guy. This guy has a beard. So if that's the case, I'm the only one that can get people laid in Daygame. The whole world, just one person. Hey, what's up? Thank you for the thumbs up, right? Every time you give me a thumbs up, I really do appreciate it. If I'm the only one that can get students laid in 2026 for Daygame, the only one coach, and no white dating coach or Game Global, Indian coaches, black coaches, nobody else can get a Daygame lay testimonial, and they're all tricksters with penny-wise eyes, exactly like the pictures I showed you. So every Game Global person, we can look at their eyes. If we want to go look at their eyes, one coach at a time, right? There was another guy. I remember some black dude was there. What's his name? Ricario? Dating coach. Let me see if I can find them. I forgot what their name is. We should just look at their eyes. We can just go all their pictures and their biography, and then we look at all their eyes one by one. Every single one of them will have split eyes, just the same as the criminals, because they really are sociopaths. It's not like I'm making this up, like, oh, John's diagnosing people. No, they really are sociopathic. Because that's why they have opinions as facts. And it used to work before the tariff. They were right if they just have the numbers game. Some people eventually get laid because they get women below their looks level. Or sometimes the coach will say, do romantic flirts, do some push pulls. Oh, it's all in your coaching. But nobody got laid anymore. Not a single person got laid for the last few years, especially during the tariff era. Nobody got laid. And guess what happens? Now they just stand next to women with a DSLR camera, photo shoot, giving advice in your language. No more proof. What, the in-ear doesn't work anymore? Romantic flirts? In the past, they used to tell their students to bring alcohol to celebrate after the boot camp. But when that happens, they got the alcohol in the nightstand. And they'll tell the student when they pull her home with the romantic flirts that, dude, escalate super hard and keep it below the level of grape. And from there, you'll eventually get laid. Just don't get in trouble. Use the alcohol. And students are like stupid, like bench holding. And then just like, they are impressionable sheeps, worshipping. So they do the same thing, but that no longer works because women are stressed out during a tariff era. They'll never, ever use alcohol. And even if the woman does, she will kick him off the bed and say, I gotta go home. So they can't get any more lay testimonials because it doesn't fucking work. It's all bullshit. It doesn't fucking work. It used to work in the past, maybe in 2000 and like 21 or something, or I mean 2020 or something like that, and before, and they just keep reposting the same testimonials. It's like, let's post some old shit because, and then they switch over to Indian hate topics. Why? There's no Indian hate with my students. They get nothing but Indian love because they're just whitewashed. And the other dating coaches don't understand this. And the, Game Global shit. And also the other fans of Game Global, they're just autistic sheeps. Not you guys, but those guys, autistic, sociopathic, narcissist sheeps. They watch your stuff. They think they're good because they're white, they're tall. They must be good. Mainly because they're just pulling wool over people's eyes. So what's the deal? These white dating coaches, like I like white people. Let's make this very clear. White people without penny-wise eyes that are sociopaths. Just the general population. I like white people. I respect white people. I wish I was white. Okay? I wish. But, you can't get everything in life. But wouldn't it be cool if I was 5'7" and white and I look exactly the same? Like a Justin Bieber looking white guy. Imagine having like 160,000 subscribers just by being white and with a halo effect. That's the power of white plausibility. The dating coach can have no results whatsoever, no one laid, but because he's white, like Paul Janka, right? He must be good. Paul Janka only has like one testimonial for Daygame, like, or he barely even have any. It's not transferable. Does that make sense? Bradicus has like two, but so from a boot camp when he's with another coach, he can't even get people laid. It's just like collecting money. You see that? White people, I love white people, but white dating coaches are not the same. These are like zombies. These are super zombies. These are cluster B personality, millennial narcissists with split eyes. We show you pictures. We can find more RSD people with split eyes. Does that make sense? Let me see more RSD. Who's another guy? They all have split eyes. Look at this. All of RSD have split eyes. Always 1.5 millimeters apart. Here is RSD Jeffy for the next one. So which eye is off? This one's off. They're both off. Look carefully. They're exactly 1.5 millimeters off the center. You see that? This one's going outwards. This one's slightly outwards, just like 1 millimeter. This one's like almost 2 millimeters outwards. You see that? That's RSD Jeffy. So you're saying they're all sociopaths? I'm saying they are. They are manipulators, occult people that don't get people results. They're there to make as much money as possible. So you're saying the whole day game industry is sick, is like cancer. I am the cure. These guys don't have the answers anymore. They can't get students laid like I can. Are you guys listening? How much proof do I have to show you guys? They all have the same split eyes. They all have the same split eyes. All of Game Global has that. That's RSD Jeffy. Let's see another coach that worships RSD. I just can't find a good picture of Charisma King from the front angle. But his eyes are split too. But he's not showing split eyes right now because he's closing his eyes. But they all have the same thing. He has the worst split eyes. His eyes are super split. But I just can't find pictures of him. He has the most sociopathic eyes of all of them. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Here's one picture, but it's hard to see. Let's see if I can zoom in. This eyes is already split. It's not just that picture of the angle. This eye over here is like already to the one side. The other eye is slightly off by 1 millimeter. This one's like huge. This one's like close to 3 millimeters this side. See that? The Pennywise eyes effect. The other one's more like just a tiny bit. But they all have that. You see that? They're all delusional. That's why they're delusional. They're narcissists. They have the eyes of the narcissistic sociopath. When they're more like high ego and low self-esteem, then they become more delusional. They have opinions as facts. Charisma King cannot get anyone laid for Daygame. I'm not sure about right now, but for most of his career, he only had one student polling 3 times. A white guy, but he did not get laid. Nobody gets laid. They just take your money. Give it a thumbs up for that. If you want to train under me, www.johnnyelite.com. If you can't find me on Google, you can always go to the top of my website. Does that make sense? For the YouTube. Let me switch back. So if you want to find me on the YouTube, right, you can't find me because if you click on my video, right, they have a bunch of related videos. I'm on the very top here. You just have to click here, links, official site. And over here is the, right here, the newest website is already showing that the Vietnamese student second lay off Daygame, had to day 2, but a 10 out of 10, and a 23-year-old, 10-23, was getting worried for a second. I was losing momentum and very consistent. I put any pictures, you put congratulations on the lay, Elite 30 is working well. And that's exactly what you're asking for, somebody within that age, right? So he wanted 18 to 25-year-old, right, for this Vietnamese guy in the United States. And he wanted a woman like that, and he's got it with low body count, as he claims. Somebody within that age, if I were you, I would start Elite 30 back to day 1. No pictures. Normally don't take pictures that's that early. Regardless, you know what I said to him, you know what your strategy is? Go through Elite 30 module 3 50 times. Because he went through another book called the Sex God Method or something. He went through it 50 times and then he got some results before. And then I told him to go through Elite 30 module 3, right? 30-day challenge. Go through it like 50 times. Now he's on number 2. So it's not bullshit. Like, here's a real picture. Like, look at it. It's real. No pictures normally. Okay. You just keep doing it and extracting the results over and over. And do not continue if you're in day number like 20 or something. He's in day 17. Do not go to day 21. Just go right back to number 1 every single time you get laid. I'll restart it. I was at day 17 or SMTH. I'm not sure what that means. I was reviewing your active listening multiple times, and that lesson was really good. Okay. It was very strange strategy, but there was a black student I had before with 100 lays. He went through the course, but 12 times in a row. But he restarted it every single lay. So I'm trying to give him a strategy, right? I'm trying to give him a strategy because he got laid. I know he's not going to make a video testimonial. That's fine. He's just passing through. But the more he gets laid with my course, Elite 30, he only paid $350. He's already got 2 lays out of it. One, like 8.5 out of 10 and one 10 out of 10. Asian guy, 5'7", United States. How much proof do you need? How much proof do you need? So, okay. Okay, send it over here. So this is another person that I removed from the program, but I'm letting him send the homework assignments for Elite 30. If he shows up for 14 days, I will let him come back to the program. You know, I'll let him come back to the program. No problem. So it's not like I'll just kick everyone out. I'll kick them back in if they follow instructions. You don't want to pull a Sebastian doing the opposite, running away, never showing up. So, all right, next one. So they're more like mercenaries for marketers, for dating coaches, right? So there are 3 types of dating coaches, right? Does that make sense? Okay. You still have to post. Okay, we'll just see what you post here. So in reality, yeah, for white dating coaches, right? They're mercenaries. So there's always 3 types of dating coaches. For business, there's always like the missions. The guy's on a mission. I'm on a mission to help Asian men procreate and help the Asian people. I just get a lot of students. This is a black student. I get like every ethnicity because they want that kind of results, like my Asian students. And you saw that other Vietnamese guy, Asian. But Indians are doing very well. So there's the mission. The second one is the mercenaries. That's like RSD. You see, when the eyes are split, right, for all these other dating coaches from Game Global, they're all marketers. They know how to speak like a cult leader. Nobody has taught them how to speak like a cult. Like for me, I don't even speak like them. I don't market to them like ABC's, hey guys. Like ABC's does not have like that kind of eyes. It just has more of the he has more of the narcissistic eyes. Does that make sense? Like a narcissist, but definitely not like a bit Asperger's kind of eyes, like an engineer type, but not like it's not like that. It's a little bit like it's a little bit intense, but narcissist eyes. But they don't get students laid either. But they look like they're on a mission, but I think they're also mercenaries. All of Game Global is mercenaries. White dating coaches are mercenaries. They're not here to get you laid. If you get laid or not, they don't give a fuck. As long as you take their boot camps and you worship them like they're experts, but they're not the same as the blue pill or the naturals. I like white people, but I don't like narcissistic sociopath mercenaries who are not the same as the blue pill. And the last one is just there to get their paycheck, right? Paycheck to paycheck. They only want financial stability. They don't want to have a mission. They don't want to rock the boat. Does that make sense? So let me hear the guy's infield. I'm gonna mute it a little bit.
Spider-Man?
No,
Oh my God. What is your name?
I'm a nurse.
Okay. I got you to put your own thing here.
No worries.
What are you doing here? We're shopping and stuff.
Yeah, just doing a little speed run before I head back home.
Okay, so not bad. I've only heard a few seconds of it because I'm on YouTube Live, but you can see your infields are improving a lot before you're very avoidant. You have slowed down a little bit and you're more relaxed. Not bad. So if you did the day game stuff, right? That's good. Let me look at your homework. I'm going to mute it for the YouTube Live audience, but you have shown some resilience. It's already day 4, right? If you reach day number 14, you're back in the program. But you can see how much you have expanded, right? Before you couldn't do it because it's too hard. But now it's like it's getting easier. Does that make sense? I haven't heard the whole thing yet. But this is not bad. White women are actually like they like you because you kind of have a whitewashed tonality. If you took elite tonality mastery, you can refine that further. It makes it easier. They don't even care if you're black or not. They actually find you like slightly bit attractive, which is a good thing, despite the height. Okay, but let me mute it again and hear.
Yeah, but what's your name? My name's
Nice to meet you.
my name's not
I am.
okay.
I do. I like a lot.
Oh shit. Oh shit. All right. So I think I reconnected to it, but it's not even working. Can you guys hear me? Let me try to figure this out. Let me try to figure this out. Something's happening here. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So sorry about that. That whole fucking thing froze, right? I'm back now. Let's continue. Okay. You guys can see me, right? Can you see me? So it looks like we're back. Woo! All right. Perfect. Let's continue. Let's get this fucking show on the road. I got KFC already, so we gotta go fast because you know how much Johnny Elite loves his Toonie Tuesdays, right? No longer Toonies, almost like $5. So honestly, the skills are on par with yours for white dating coaches. They're just turning this into a career, right? Because they always have a second job, like they're some high ticket closer or there's some copywriter. There's always some other side hustle job, some drop shipper, and then dating coaches like the side hustle, and then they start, you know, turning that into whatever. But you never seen one of them go from open to getting laid in their infields. It's always just ends in the being nighttime and pulling a woman into a cab. And that's pretty much where it stops. So can we really start assuming that they've been successful with women from Daygame? Yeah, they might get like a 5 out of 10 occasionally, or maybe they're in Thailand or Indonesia and then they try to get easy mode, or else they've been in Ukraine before the war. They always go to these easier places. Okay, good for them. But could we assume that they don't know what they're talking about? If they don't have students late for Daygame like UMP or London Daygame and all these other things like Matt Artisan or Coach Kyle, who only has 3, can we assume that these guys are probably not the same as the white naturals and the blue pill people? Can we assume that right now if they only end in a cap? Or if they just hang around women in Bali or whatever, Thailand, standing next to women that they hired for a quick photo op? And what they really want for you is to idolize them, to sign up to their boot camps. They have to worship you first. I mean, they have to make you worship them as their eyes split like Pennywise, and then you get no results whatsoever. That's what they do. Give it a thumbs up. Because the more their eyes are split, the more they're going to brainwash the fuck out of you. That's what they do. They're tricksters. They either have you believe their infields are impressive, or which is not, it only ends in a cap at nighttime in Las Vegas, like UMP and Todd V always ends in a fucking cab, or it's always some Las Vegas thing. They can't do it for Daygame. Or you got tall self-proclaimed coaches where the infield cuts off in the cab and nothing happens, and you assume, oh, because Tinder it ends up in the cab's a lay. No, it doesn't guarantee a lay. You don't see what happens. It just ends out of nowhere. You're like, shit. Can you name one time you see a white dating coach ever go into a bedroom with a woman and have sex with her? Or even show a little bit of that? Even if they don't show the sex, at least you show what happened after. Have you seen any proof of that? Give it a thumbs up if you haven't seen any proof. You only see them end up in the cap. There's the truth. You assume they must be good because these guys are authority. But what if they are exactly as autistic as all their Game Global audience? They're just autistic people looking at 3-minute infields, and they're tricksters and fooling you, and you're thinking they're good. So they'll just take pictures next to women where they pay to be there from a fucking passport bro country because it's cheap. Just for a show. I'm going to show you 3 roasts showing you that they never actually see one of them go from open to sex. So it's the same deal every single time. It's always nighttime. And then it just stops there. And then you might be wondering, if these guys are really scammers, why can't you see it in their videos? Well, I'll explain. Sorry. I'll explain. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. I think it's too hot in here, right? I'm sweating a lot. It's going to melt the computer if I continue like this. So I'm going to go as fast as I can, okay? So basically, for white dating coaches, reason why they don't get laid is very simple. For their students, they have a zombie flow drill. They make statements, they get a short answer, they ask a question, short answer, statement, short answer, question, short answer, statement, short answer, question, short answer. So they make it a numbers game. Does that make sense? Because they're using a zombie flow drill that's full of autism. We can play Todd V's infield or something. It'll be super autistic as shit. It'll be super, super autistic. Or, all the other white dating coaches. Give it a thumbs up that I'm back. So they're not real conversational flow. This is not how social skills flow drill work. You can see they can't execute the social skills flow drill. That's my students. They develop over 30 days. It's not like it happens overnight. It takes time to develop a habit. It's habits, not tactics. That's what they don't understand. They don't understand habits, not tactics. So it doesn't follow the same formula because, quite frankly, their brains aren't wired for it because of autism. Some of these guys are like Asperger's. They have an engineering background. You're like, how many dating coaches? Thank you very much. I'm glad we're back. But how many dating coaches have an engineering background? Many of them. Tall self-proclaimed coaches. You see ABC's NASA engineer, rocket science, Asperger's, squatting Casanova or pickup alpha, biotech engineer. So many engineers in this field, former engineers. But because they're engineers, their stuff never works. It's never transferable. They can't grasp social skills or social intelligence It's always more about game techniques. Fuck yeah, let's preach. It's always about game techniques because you have to engineer the situation. So yeah, just to keep this in mind. So the first roast is that Caucasian dating coaches, as much as I love Caucasian people in general, but we're talking about white dating coaches are not very good at day game because they play a numbers game. Same as you. They're identical to their students. They just happen to be coaches. You know, when it comes to Caucasian dating coaches, they really aren't winning any awards in the dating department. I mean, they're all about that numbers game. And guess what? They face rejection just like you guys. Exactly the same. So hopefully it still works. Is this still working? Let me see. Let me see. All right, still working. All right. It might be a little bit slower. A VPN just popped up. Right? Hopefully you can still see me. If not, I might turn it off. But that's probably why you don't see a ton of glowing testimonials from them. And here's the kicker. A lot of these guys, right, usually end up with pretty average looking girlfriends. Unless, of course, they're in some passport bro paradise like Thailand or Indonesia, then it's a whole different story. They might as well start hiring models. That's what they do over there. And they call them girlfriends. They have women who not want to be in your photo shoot because it lowers their status to stand next to a dating coach. She has to have some kind of advantage, whether the guy has some status for his race or looks, or else he's just hiring models and just like whatever. And then he sells boot camps. It's all for appearances. These Facebook coaches is wild, honestly, because at the end of the day, a lot of these so-called day game coaches are really just marketers with zero social skills. And their game, not exactly something you would take home. It's not like they can even take women home in their infields and have sex with them. Name one time you see a white dating coach open to sex, not just end in the cap. You haven't. You never really see the journey from the initial spark, to anything more intimate in the bedroom. It's just all about the optics. We're gonna read faster because my KFC is here. Toonie Tuesday is here. It's like a new meme now, right? John loves Toonie Tuesdays, right? Every Tuesday, Johnny Lee scarfs down KFC. So the second roast is that you cannot pass genetic gifts over to minorities, right? For Daygame. So here's the deal. You can't just pass those genetic advantages if you're a minority. What I mean is that those tall white dating coaches, they got traits like height and looks and just can't be transferred to everyone else. It's not like you can magically give those qualities to someone that doesn't have them, like a short Indian or a short Asian guy. So most of the time, these coaches are just helping out high value folks. The ones with decent social market value or SMV, the so-called high value hard cases that might be in a passport bro country. Status maxing. They might still manage to hook up with some 4 out of 10 if they play a huge numbers game, if they're flying over to a third world country. But let me tell you, this often means facing a mountain of rejections. It's pretty tough, even to the point where it can give you PTSD. So when it comes to lower SMV minorities, try to make this approach work, especially in a non-passport bro country. In the United States, they get fucking curb stomped by women. They get their ass handed to them. Does that make sense? Things don't usually pan out. It's like they're fighting an uphill battle without the right tools because they have no social skills and social calibrations and emotional control for the whitewash tonality. So now these guys with medium to high SMV, sure, they might still find somebody who's 4 out of 10 after a couple hundred approaches over there in Latin America, like in Mexico or Colombia or whatever. But the catch is that it takes forever. Like if you go in the West, it might even take more than half a year to get laid. If you have some high SMV, if you don't have high SMV and your voice is affected by the cortisol stress of the tariff, then you're not going to get laid for Daygame. Only my students are getting laid. You're not going to luck out. It's not even looks anymore or race. Your points are minus 2.5 points. So a white dating coach just cried that numbers doesn't work anymore and you have to push it to the lay. They just woke up after all these years. Think about it this way, the 3-minute number close videos, you see Coach Kyle doing it, but Coach Kyle's good looking. He's better looking than John. That he must be good, right? It's just a 3 minutes of autism. You don't even know if she's going to come out on a date or not. You don't see that. You don't see it because it's white plausibility. Because they're white, they must be right. You assume they must be good because they're white. It's all assumed. So do they know that they're gaming their audience? They're trying to make their audience worship and get into boot camps? These guys with penny wise eyes, every single one of these white dating coaches, they know what they're doing. They're born to manipulate. You see, with RSD, their eyes are separated. They're all Game Global, all the coaches, the eyes are separated, like Pennywise, like a serial killer, because they're all born to manipulate. That's why it stopped working. And I'm the only one posting Daygame late testimonials. Every single week, I'm posting a brand new one. Nobody gives a fuck. Yet they don't post it. They just post optics, standing next to women in a DSLR camera in Indonesia or Thailand. Or else if they're not doing that, they'll stand next to a woman in a DSLR for other countries in Game Global. All of them are standing next to women. They don't have any proof. They're aging out. A lot of these coaches are getting older. They're losing their SMV. I'm probably like older than most of the coaches there anyways, but I look younger than you. Isn't that weird? Johnny Elite looks younger than all of the coaches there. Who knows? I could be the same age as Ross Jeffries in Mystery. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not confirming or denying it, but I could be very well like within their age range. I just don't physically age because I'm Asian and I have genetics like that. I don't physically age. So as I was saying, I started Daygame in 2001. Mystery's like 2003. I'm before Mystery. I'm the OG. So it takes forever, like more than half a year to get them laid for their students. And how can these white dating coaches collect any video testimonials for their scamming boot camps? That white person might have gotten a lay with a 4 out of 10 mid-looking woman after 6 months or something, and they cannot collect a video testimonial because it's 6 months out of their boot camp. But all the other minorities with low SMV, none of them got laid. They took the boot camps. They're just filling the fucking boot camps, the bench hole camps. It's scam. You know how it goes. Patience isn't always a virtue in dating. So the third roast, right? We're getting at the third one. I'm not going to do a call to action. I'm just going to stop and go to KFC after this. I'm not going to try to pitch you anything. I say you should get Elite 30 and start there, right? The black student send me infields. Yeah, in case you need to prove that you can do it. If you're an unteachable case and you show me 14 days, you show up, you do the homework, and then you do whatever, then that's fine. But Game Global hates Daygame. They just love social circle, right? And then you can get the coaches on the show. They just debate with each other when nobody can get students laid. It's all a scam. Because now their scam is exposed. When was the last time anyone from Game Global debating each other ever got a student laid for Daygame? Zero. Since August 2025 to now, the tariff era, not a single Game Global person can get a person laid. So why are they talking? Are they just exercising their mouth muscles? Like, are they just actively flapping their gums? Are they like when I talk here, I'm speaking the truth. I don't have any, like, I have a script, but I always deviate because I'm just speaking the fucking truth. Somebody needs to say it. When they speak, right, they speak out the corner of their mouth, right? Right? They speak out the corner of their mouth. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's whatever. But I'm just saying that they're speaking out the corner of their mouth. They're talking, they're debating. For what? They can't get anyone laid for Daygame. Why are they talking? They're just flapping their fucking gums. Why? Why would they do that? For what reason? Because they're just scamming you with their penny-wise eyes. The more crooked it is, the more money they can take from you. So, John, what will your homework be? Only when you take my coaching, you will know. You don't need to know that. So, anyways, I was saying, the third roast is that these guys are really mercenaries disguised as dating coaches to sell you on expensive boot camps with their penny-wise eyes. All right, so here's something to chew on, okay? These so-called dating coaches, yeah, they're more like mercenaries in disguise. They're just out there to peddle their pricey boot camps. It's kind of wild, really, because these folks who looks up to them, right? These sheeps, they can't even see what real game looks like. They look at an autistic 3-minute infield by Coach Kyle or Charisma King or any of these other white coaches like Evolutionary Daily who barely can get students laid, just get instant dates, right? It's like, oh, but he's white, he must be good. These people, he's not part of Game Global, but I just want to say that, right? I get students laid, you don't, right? You think you're so great. He wants to try to self-proclaim he's so great as a coach, he's like the best. No, I got way more late testimonials. I got 691 late and post testimonials. What the fuck do you have? Just fucking Insta dates and shit? Just selling boot camps. The guy almost quit too, right? He used to be called Aaron Wayne. Anyways, because the coach just has some quirks, maybe a bit of autism mixed with some sociopathic vibes and narcissism. Ever notice that intense death stare? Creepy, right? And let me talk about their eyes for a minute. I mean, they're all over the place, like Pennywise from the movie It. It points in two different directions. One's looking this way to scam, and the other eye is looking over there at your wallet. Does that make sense? One is like scam you into boot camp. The other eye is looking on how to scam you and get your money out of your wallet. I don't charge expensive, crazy prices like Game Global. ABCs of attraction cost $7,000 for a fucking boot camp just to go to Latin America to swipe on fucking Tinder. $7,000 to go to some place like Brazil or some other place just to swipe. You could go there by yourself and not spend like $7,000. My God, UMP is probably like more than 5,000, probably like 7,000. They're just making money hands over fist, and nobody's getting laid from Game Global. And they're debating each other. They're like circle jerking, debating each other. Nobody's getting laid at all. How could that be? In any other industry, we will call this a scam. It was always a scam. The only reason why they got laid was because of three crutches. The first crutch is a massive numbers game. They might get lucky. Number two, they use alcohol in the bedroom, and they have the bedroom escalation, which is illegal. That's called grape. And number three is called status maxing. They use status, your coach's status, to close the students for the social circle setup type of game. The three crutches. But now the three crutches don't work. The only thing that works is to be like a natural with social skills, social calibrations, emotional control. And I'm not talking on my ass here. I actually got students late. You saw my other Indian student, he got like fucking 5 lays already. Wait until he gets his next lay. What the fuck? So, as I was saying, when their eyes are Pennywise and they have an intense death stare, it's unsettling to say the least. But here's the truth. Their main mission seems to be to brainwash you like a cult, to manipulate you to sign up for the boot camp. Be like, John, they can't manipulate you to sign up for a boot camp. Oh, it's like famous the moose, famis the geese. So you're turning a goose into a geese or a bunch of sheeps. Famous the moose, famis the geese. How do they famous you? The very first thing they do to famous you is that they make you worship their 3-minute infields. They never get laid, but they have a picture next to a woman in some of their advertising. So you assume they must be good. You never see them going for open to sex, but they famous the moose. Now you look at the infields, and then you take all their brainwashing. When Johnny Elite says something opposite, you don't listen to me because weeds will grow in your garden. Oh, but then you look at the dating coach's good looks. Coach Kyle is handsome. James Tuss is handsome. Therefore, they're white. They must be good. Oh, look, RC Max, who basically sucks with women with massive BO, he can only pull them to a social circle by hiring women to say, you want to come to a party, you get paid for it. And they use that as advertisement into their ads. They're famousing the moose because they assume that they can be white. And they're like, these minorities, they're not very smart. That means you can show no proof whatsoever, give like half truths and say that it's all game, and then just stand next to women and then just do a 3-minute number close, and then they'll make money. Yes. But now they're being exposed by the tariff. It doesn't work anymore for Game Global. They're all lying tricksters. They no longer have students late, so they just debate each other in Game Global. They just debate each other, whatever that means. They just circle jerk. They're debating what? Nonsense. They don't even make any sense. And Johnny Lee, everything I say makes perfect sense. Yet you see me posting one late testimonial every single week, a brand new one. How could that be? Unreleased stuff, then you got brand new stuff. Students are getting multiple lays this year. John is the only day game coach, Johnny Lee, me. Why is there only one day game coach in the whole world that can get students late? How could that be? Because I'm the only one that knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm the only one who knows what I'm talking about. I don't speak out of the side of my mouth to say, here's the half truth, and over here is all game. I say, no, it's not all game. Game, you have social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, 7.5 points. Then you need less game. You compensate. Because when you have these three, you need less game. When you have looks, money, status plus game, right? And you have like minus 2.5 for emotions, and your voice is fucked because of the cortisol in your voice during a tariff era since August 2025. Are you guys getting this? During this short period, is fucking up your voice. So any game that you have has been eliminated. Now you just have looks, money, and status. You don't have any, the game is already canceled out because the emotions are minus 2.5. You got more of a deficit. If your game is only 1.5 or something, you cannot same day lay. Like my students who are 2.5, they can do the arrow science. If you can't fucking same day lay and you're just doing number closes, your game is not 2.5 points there, maxed out. It's closer to like 1 point or 1.5 at most. And you're vibing some SMV, your emotions, you're vibing it. Looks, money, status. They call it, oh, it's energy game, as they call it with Game Global. Energy game. Like you can't even get a fucking student laid. Shut the fuck up, right? You live in fucking Bali, Indonesia, with optics, right? Oh, energy game, energy. Shut the fuck up, right? Oh, but the guy's white, so he must be. Yeah, he's just fucking hiring models. Idiot. He shows up on Game Global giving his fucking theories. And these Facebook coaches is frustrating because a lot of people end up getting zero results from these so-called white dating coaches. Remember, I like white people. I like the blue pill. I respect white people. But the white dating coaches with the penny wise eyes, they are not the same as the naturals. I don't respect them. In general, all white people I respect. But white dating coaches worth less than 1% of the population, I don't respect. I don't think that they should not be just they're white, they're good because it's the halo effect. The halo effect means you see one good trait. Oh, he's tall, so he must be good. Oh, he's standing next to women, he must be good. He's white, he must be good. He has muscles, he must be good. Oh, he's an Asian dating coach. He's taller than John, he must be good. You guys stop sucking off the halo effect. Worshipping. That's how they famous you. Once they famous you, their day game courses don't work. Yet my student, the Indian guy, got laid from Elite Day Game first steps. The other guy, Vietnamese, got laid from Elite 30. My day game courses do work. It's not famousing you. But their day game courses is famousing you. They don't get laid, and guess what happens? You blame yourself, right? Because oh, they're white. If they can do it, you can do it. Well, why can't you do it? You're a Chinese minority. Why can't you do it? Oh, or you give up. You might as well go ABCs of Attraction Bootcamp in Toronto for cheaper price, right? No day game stuff, but then you're stuck to night game and you're paying $5,000 for all the drinks and all of the cover fees a year. You're wasting that. Stupid. But instead, you could have trained here. The only thing that's still working is John Elite's day game system. And then high value hard cases. They might get laid like a 4 out of 10 if they're in Latin America, playing a numbers game, status maxing, but you don't have the same status in the United States. It's not really about having skills. It's about having like how you present yourself, or what some call your sexual market value. Halo effect. Not exactly the master class in day game as they make it out to be. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, they're white dating coaches. Therefore, they're authorities, right? Because they're white and they must be good, right? It's like, how could they become a dating coach, even if they don't have a lot of students laid for day game? Well, the tricky thing is that if they cannot get students laid and just playing a numbers game, then even if some students eventually get laid 8 months later on, maybe not during tariffs, but before that, with medium SMV or zero results with low SMV, they cannot collect a video testimonial. So do I have permission to pitch Elite Bundle Resurrections? I don't want to be pitching here because I want to eat KFC. And I don't want to make this video into a pitch fest. How about this? I don't pitch for this video on purpose. Just join my Elite 30 or start there. Most people are starting for Elite 30, not the entire Elite Bundle Resurrections. To get Elite Bundle Resurrections, you cannot be an unteachable case. But I don't have anything to pitch today. That's all I got to say today. Thank you for being here. I don't know how many people view this video, maybe not a lot. But if we get around 80 views, because we're not getting 100 views now. If we get around 80 views or something, or maybe like 85 or 90, 85 views or something, 85 views, I will go back on YouTube Live. There's like 9 more things. I wrote like 14 scripts, right? We already read like 3 of them or 4 of them now. I have 10 more or something. We have plenty of scripts. We have plenty and plenty of scripts. It's all you can eat. As long as you show up, give it a thumbs up, and help the algorithms, I will always be here. I have so much to say. This is what I always wanted to say about white dating coaches. Pennywise. It's a white dating coach. It's like Pennywise, the dancing clown. Georgie, I'm tricking you guys just to go to a boot camp. That's right. You go to a boot camp, a benjo camp. Huh, yes, Pennywise, because you all float. You'll float too. To boot camps. When my eyes are in two separate directions and I talk to you like this, and you trust me because of my bright skin and tall height. I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Like all the other RSD coaches, all of Game Global, all their eyes are pointed in two separate directions. Georgie, that's right. You'll float too. You'll float too. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for being here, guys. No pitching for today. No pitching. Join my coaching program. Okay, but there's no pitching. I'm not gonna say a bunch of stuff. We need more students laid. Already, all the students who are actively there, they already got more than one lay. One guy has 2 lays, another guy got 2 lays, another guy has like 5. But we need more students. I don't have as many students do the smear campaign. That means every student that I do have that are active all have to get laid. It's unfortunate. But that means I'm not teaching unteachable cases. Normal cases, they get laid in 3 days, like the Vietnamese guy. He got laid after 3 more weeks, but still within easy case. Normal case, we got the Canadian student, the Indian guy. He's already on second lay. So he's a normal case. They usually take around 3 weeks to like something, to 3 months. And then we have a hard case, right? But just borderline hard case, borderline normal case. Indian student 5 lays. Now we have an impossible case. We have the ABCs of attraction victim. He came back to the coaching. He's emotional, but he still follows instructions. He'll still get laid. We have an unteachable case, a black student, short guy, but we heard his practice or something. But he's getting better now. He's going from unteachable case into impossible case. He's okay with getting laid a little bit later on, like 9 months later on. It's still fine. It's fine with me. But he's doing the homework assignments now. Before he was resisting. But unteachable cases are not allowed to join. Does that make sense? I'm teaching all the easy cases, normal cases, hard cases, impossible cases, not unteachable cases. Doing the opposite. I have students that actually do the opposite. They're stubborn. They have a one-track mind. They believe they're right. They're the expert. I don't know anything. Yet I keep getting students laid. Their whole brain is playing tricks on them. I cannot teach unteachable cases. The reason why so many students are getting multiple lays is because I no longer let unteachable cases join my coaching. They've been filtered out. If they are in the coaching, they'll be removed. They can come back later on when they prove that they can do the homework assignments and go out there often. But I don't have anything to sell to you today. Thank you for being here. Give it a thumbs up for not trying to sell to you guys. There's 5 people here. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really mean everything I say here. There's no marketing with Johnny Elite here. There's no marketing. I'm not manipulating marketing or anything like that. I'm just always telling you guys the truth, exactly how the day game industry works. I don't know how to market. I'm not born Machiavellian. My eyes are not separated. So I don't naturally have that instinct to do that. The only thing I can do is get students laid and show you and explain why they got laid and tell you the truth. That's all I can do is unbrainwash you. That's why for some of you, they're very enlightened. They hear what I'm saying. They're like, everything Johnny Elite says makes sense. But to how many people? How many like non-sheeps? We only got 1,400 people here for the subscribers. Coach Kyle has like probably like a couple 100,000. They're brainwashing everyone. White dating coaches. Me, I tell the opposite. No one wants to hear this shit. They don't want to hear the truth. But when they do hear it, they do get enlightened. They adapt and they get laid. That's all I'm saying. Start with Elite 30. You want to find my website? www.johnnyelite.com. I'm not going to pitch my course like in detail. Go to my website. If you can't find me on Google, you can find me on top of the YouTube. Okay? If you want to look for me on YouTube and you don't know where to find me, if you look at this one, right? I'm always up here. You click on the links and you go to the main offer. And then, not main offer, yeah, whatever, official site on top. All right, this one went to official site. Here's the Vietnamese student getting a second lay, right? I didn't post this one because he did not make a video testimonial, but you can read it there. A brand new video testimonial. If you go to my testimonial page, you can see like fucking 691 laid and post testimonials, nearly 700. The page will go on. You will scroll for more than 15 minutes. If you just scroll with your thumb, like one at a time, without trying to drag on the side of the bar. This will be like, you want to see what nearly 700 laid and post testimonials look like? Oh, fuck, you're going to be like there all day. So check it out. And also you can find me in the description. I'm going to copy and paste it before I eat my Toonie Tuesday, right? For KFC. Okay? I'm going to scarf the shit out of the fucking chicken right into my mouth. As soon as I press end stream. Fucking eating a lot of KFC. I'm gonna scarf down so fast that I'm just gonna choke on it because I'm not gonna drink anything. Every Tuesday, right? If I'm here on live, I have Toonie Tuesday. I love Toonie Tuesday. I'm addicted to Toonie Tuesday. Outside of that, I only eat like organic meat throughout the weekdays. But outside of that one, Toonie Tuesday, fuck, I want KFC every Tuesday from now on for the whole year. Toonie Tuesday, but it's $5 more than Toonies now. It's like more than double the price with inflation, the liberal inflation. But thank you for being here. Thumbs up. I'm gonna stop right now. Thank you. We'll be here as soon as possible. In like, if we get like 85 views in like 2 days, I'm back here. See you guys in the next one. See you when I see you.